Hello everyone, glad to be back. Today is 24th of December, Sunday, Christmas Eve. So happy Christmas to everybody who celebrates this day on 25th of December. In Orthodox world, we celebrate Christmas on 7th of January, with the exception of our Greek brothers and sisters. They celebrate on 25th, so of course, congratulations to Greek Orthodox Christians. Also, happy Christmas and best of wishes to everybody who celebrates this day on 25th of December. That's been said, let's talk about news. Although before I start, let me mention my channel on Rumble. As you know, Rumble is priority and will be priority in 2024 for me to further develop Rumble channel. And if you are watching this video on YouTube, please consider to join our community on Rumble. Also, it's almost 1900 of us at this point on Rumble, and hopefully with your support we will manage to reach 2000 before end of this year, to gain additional interest among members of our community towards Rumble channel. I do periodically, and I will try to do it more often, exclusive program for Rumble only Telegram reports, in which I do share additional volume of information. And in 2024 I will try to come up with additional programming for Rumble, because after all my channel is monetized on Rumble, and if our community will grow and if view numbers will grow on my videos, maybe sometime in the future, towards summer or maybe towards end of next year, Rumble will become a significant source of financial support for our project, which may allow me to further develop this project, maybe even hire staff, maybe even hire journalists, programists, and that will of course give us opportunity to create even more programs and diversify this project, so that there will be not just content on politics or news, but also on history, culture, life in Russia in general, and many other interesting topics. So let's see how it will go, but I do have some plans, and hopefully with support of our community, I'll be able to achieve at least some of the goals that I have for 2024. And well, before I start with the news, also let me share with you this information. On Telegram, I did post the link of audio from my yesterday's conversation with the Canadian journalist, writer, and geopolitical analyst Matt Ehret. And whenever video will be available, I will share a video link also. If you have time, please check that conversation. It was very interesting. It was a good experience for me, and a great opportunity to share my point of view on certain topics with the audience of Matt Ehret's program, Connecting the Dots, and TNT Radio. So I'm very grateful to Matt and the entire team of TNT Radio. Hopefully I will manage to invite Matt Ehret on our show after Christmas and New Year's celebrations, and I even have an idea, and I want to talk to Matt about it, if he will be able to participate in our shows at least once a month, so that we can summarize events of the previous months. I guess it will be interesting. So let's see. I do have some ideas that I'm working on now, and after celebrations, I'm gonna get in touch with Matt and ask about possibility that he will participate in our programs. So please, dear friends, check that conversation from yesterday. At some point, because I was participating in live with the Zoom, and that was first time when I used Zoom platform, at some point I lost the window of Zoom, and I get lost for several seconds, maybe a minute, and you can clearly notice this. I was trying to find out what was going on. I even asked Matt if I was still online. So that was quite unfortunate episode, but the rest of the conversation was quite okay, I guess. Hopefully his audience did find it interesting. And well, that's been said, let's talk about news now. And first of all, let me share with you this information. According to RIA Novosti, in Kiev-controlled parts of Zaporozhye region, explosions were heard, and military and logistical infrastructure was damaged and destroyed as a result of Russian strikes. And yesterday Russian forces conducted strikes also in direction of Kryvyi Rog, third time in last week. Russian forces are quite concentrated to take out Ukrainian airfields, first of all, and many airfields are constantly under strike these days, possibly because rumors about F-16s are true, and several F-16s maybe are hidden somewhere in Ukraine by Kiev regime, and it's quite understandable if Russian side wants to destroy those planes, if it's true, of course. If it's true that F-16s already have been delivered to Kiev regime. Also, explosions were in Odessa region, in Nikolaev region, and many other regions that are for time being controlled by Kiev regime. Also, Dmitry Peskov, press spokesman of Russian president, did made a statement about possibility of negotiations on subject of Ukraine, and he said that Putin is ready for negotiations, although on terms that will Russia have, and on terms that will allow Russia to achieve all the goals of special military operation: demilitarization, denazification, and neutrality of Ukraine. This episode of statement from Dmitry Peskov was published in New York Times. So I guess he did give an interview to this Western media outlet or propaganda outlet, I will say. And well, we clearly can see that the last several weeks, topic of negotiations did become a major direction of Western propaganda. It's clearly obvious, especially after this famous statement of head of Ukraine's general staff Zaluzhny that stalemate have been reached in Ukrainian conflict. For Russia, there is no stalemate, but for Ukrainian forces, it is, because they are unable to achieve anything at all on line of front. They have no even slight chance to conduct successful offensive operations. And that's why I guess media outlets in the West on a daily basis now publishing articles on possible negotiations between Moscow and Kiev, between Moscow and other major capitals on fate of Ukraine. You know my take on the situation. I believe at least entire southern eastern part of Ukraine will become under Russian control. Although I will give high chances to a possibility that entire Ukraine will be divided between its neighbors, and vast majority of Ukraine will become under control of Russia, and western regions of Ukraine will return to countries that they used to belong for centuries: Poland, Hungary, and Romania. Possibly Slovakia, if Slovakia will have any claim on some territories of western Ukraine, which is unlikely really, because even though certain areas, Zakarpattia, was given to Ukraine by Czechoslovakia or taken from Czechoslovakia by Soviet Union. Czechoslovakia itself gained control over these territories after First World War from Hungary. So these territories, if we are talking about in historical terms, Zakarpattia used to be a part of Hungary, and it will be only justified if Hungary will return its territories, and it's exactly the areas where ethnic Hungarians, hundreds of thousands of ethnic Hungarians are living right now. And Budapest was highlighting many times, officials in Hungary's government, that Kiev regime is treating ethnic Hungarians in the worst possible ways. Budapest is not happy with the situation, with the rights, basic rights of Hungarians in Transcarpathia region. And I believe Budapest will happily establish control over that region once final decisions will be made between major capitals on fate of Ukraine, how this failed state will be divided, and where lines, new, let's say, border lines or lines of contact or control be between the sides. I remind you, dear friends, that the President of Russian Federation just a few days ago stated quite directly that Polish elites are dreaming about reclaiming all the territories that used to belong to Poland, and that's 80%, about 80% of Western Ukraine, with the major cities like Lvov, Rovno, Ivano-Frankovsk, and so on. And Putin has said that Russia has no issue with it, but same time Russia will not give Russian land to nobody. I'm interpreting now his words, but that's what he meant, I believe. And the only question is, Putin was talking about only southern eastern parts of Ukraine, from Kharkov to Odessa, or entire Ukraine, with the exception of western regions, because after all, Kiev itself used to be capital of Kievan Rus, Russian kingdom, and Kiev, not for no reason, called the mother of all Russian cities. Kiev is a Russian city, and always was. So maybe Putin meant that the entire Ukraine, with the exception of western regions, will become under Russian control. I would not be surprised at all if exactly that will happen. But in any case, fate of Ukraine will be decided in upcoming months, I believe, and hopefully in 2024, at least military phase of this confrontation between Russia and the Western ruling class will end. Let's continue with news. RIA Novosti is reporting that Ukrainian general did spoke about situation on Kupiansk and Krasny Liman direction, Sergei Krivonos. And he said that situation is extremely difficult for Ukrainian forces in both these directions, which is absolutely correct. I did share with you many times information about current developments on Krasny Liman sector and Kupiansk sector of the front line. And I said many times that Russian forces are locked and ready to begin large-scale offensive operations whenever they will receive green light from Russian general staff. And in my understanding, this will happen in late January, early February. Although it's all depends, in my understanding, how greatly will be downgraded battle capabilities of Ukrainian armed forces. Once Russian general staff, in my understanding, will have enough information and guarantees that Ukrainian armed force is no longer capable to put up severe fighting and are collapsing, then Russian large-scale offensive operations will begin, because at this point, strategy of Russian military is to demilitarize as many Ukrainian units as possible, and to basically force Ukrainian army to lay down arms and surrender. And once this process will be gone, once collapse of Ukrainian armed forces begun all along the front, then strategy of Russian army will change from attrition to establishing control and liberating more and more territories, because in that case there will be less casualties and there will be less damage on the ground. So that's a main issue right now. Main issue, if Russian Defense Ministry will have enough information that it's time to begin large-scale offensive operations and Ukrainian units are on the brink of collapse and are collapsing, then we will see large-scale offensives. Otherwise, there is no hurry for Russian forces. They can maintain current strategy as long as it's necessary, exactly to minimize casualties and the damage that is done as a result of this heavy intensity of clashes on the line of contact. And you will see these devastated settlements on the line of contact, isn't it? So it's only understandable if Russian general staff will maintain current strategy and only began large-scale offensive operations when Ukrainian army will begin collapsing. And it will happen at any time. It will happen at any time. Now let's continue. And RIA Novosti is reporting that 6 European states did not sign up for security guarantees for Ukraine. And these countries are Austria, Croatia, Croatia, Poland, Hungary, Slovakia, and Malta. Kyiv regime is not happy about it, but well, I'm not surprised about Poland and Hungary and Slovakia, but Austria, Croatia, Malta, well, they did surprise me. I didn't expect that they will exercise their sovereignty, because that's what this really is. They did go against Brussels, which is a rare occasions in modern Europe. Only few countries are doing this. Hungary being one of them, and recently Slovakia. RT is reporting that German economic advisor proposes tax increases to fund Ukraine. Well, I did share this information on Telegram yesterday, and members of our community were laughing at this development. According to smiles that you can see on the posts, and let me read this if I may. Berlin should tax citizens' incomes more in order to strengthen military aid to Ukraine as support for the conflict ebbs elsewhere in the West. Monika Schinitzer, who chairs the German Council of Economic Experts, told Range Post on Saturday. So she did spoke to some of the media outlets, and she said that basically German citizens should be taxed additionally so that Berlin will have additional funds to send it to Kyiv regime. How crazy is that, man? You tell me. Level of degradation of these so-called elites or ruling class in Germany is, I mean, has no borders, really. Has no borders, man. This is pure craziness. What is going on in Germany, man? Pure craziness. But it is what it is, man. And German society have to deal with it, man. This is, I mean, Germans deserve better, man. Germans definitely deserve better than this current government that they have. But yet again, it's none of my business, isn't it? If German citizens are happy with this government, then well, what can I do? But I really feel sorry, man, time to time for societies of European states when their formal leaders of the countries are doing this crazy stuff. And let's continue. And RT is reporting that EU nation is willing to hand down Ukrainian draft dodgers. Yesterday I did report that Kyiv regime is increasing pressure on as much as it can on European states and basically calling for European states to stop aiding Ukrainian refugees, to force them back to Ukraine, especially ones that are military aged. Kyiv regime is threatening also refugees that if they will not go back to Ukraine and not go to this enlistment offices, sanctions will be taken against them. And well, this is open threat, isn't it? Kyiv regime is openly threatening that state institutions will be used to terrorize refugees and their relatives, I guess, because how otherwise they're going to force anybody from Europe to go back to Ukraine? Only if they will begin terrorizing their loved ones in Ukraine that are still in Ukraine. And from Zelensky's regime, I mean, nothing can be surprising. From those criminals, anything can be expected, anything. And yesterday I did say that it's only a matter of time when European states, one by one, will come up with some sort of legislation or some new rules which will allow them to deport or to force Ukrainians one way or another to go back to Ukraine. And some members of our community were quite skeptical that European states will do this. But it did not take long before one of the states already made a decision to hand down Ukrainian draft dodgers. And this one is Estonia. Estonia is not a Western European state, of course, and Estonia not even a state in a real sense of the statehood. It's just irrelevant colony of the Washington. But still, formally, it has government, and this government made a statement that if Kyiv will ask Estonia, then Tallinn has no issue to take down all the Ukrainian refugees that are military aged and deport them into Ukraine. So this is a first step. I wonder which country will be next. Probably Baltic states will do the same, other Baltic states, Latvia, Litva. Then let's see. But at some point, I'm quite sure Western European states will also begin pressing refugees, Ukrainian refugees, to go back to Ukraine. It's just matter of time. For now, officials in Europe are saying that it will be illegal. They cannot do this and stuff like that. But just give it the time, like months, 2, 3, and they will come up with some sort of additional legislation, additional rules that will allow them to deport those people. And I believe one of the directions that they will go is that they will ask Ukraine to open criminal cases on draft dodgers, and in that case, if criminal charges are brought against refugees, then I believe European states will justify themselves by deporting these people that there are criminal charges against them. What we can do? That's one line that they're gonna exercise, European states and Kyiv regime. Let's see how successfully. Let's talk about some other news now. And RIA Novosti is reporting that according to IDF, latest information from IDF, since the 7th of October, since the escalation between Israel and Palestine, 485 Israeli soldiers have been killed in hostilities. For Israeli army, this is a huge number. This is a huge number because they don't used to such a level of casualties. Thousands and thousands of soldiers are wounded of course, and the famous Golani brigade, for example, was withdrawn from Gaza, according to some reports, because of immense casualties that they suffer during the ground operations. So this is probably one of the most difficult battles that IDF is conducting in its history, and highest number of casualties also, one of the highest number of casualties in entire history of clashes between Israeli forces and its neighbors. RIA Novosti is reporting that Yemeni Houthis did strike another 2 oil tankers in the Red Sea. This crisis in Red Sea beginning to, are only increasing, and this time 1 Norwegian tanker and 1 Indian tanker, or at least this tanker was under flag of India, were targeted. No reports about casualties among crew members of these tankers, but well, situation is definitely very serious, and well, I wouldn't be surprised if US at any time will begin striking on Yemeni Houthis. Anytime. And I remind you, dear friends, that Pentagon already made an announcement that some military alliance have been created to protect maritime routes in the Red Sea, but at least for now, it don't seems like they are effective enough to protect these maritime routes. And yesterday, some channels even reported that number of NATO member states refuse to participate in this US coalition because they don't want their militaries to be under command of US military. Something new here. Among them, France, by the way, was mentioned. Italy was mentioned. So something is happening behind the scenes that we don't know yet, but well, let's see how will the situation develop in upcoming days. But seems like this coalition that was announced by Lloyd Austin a few days ago is falling apart already, just in a few days after announcement. And Pentagon also accused Tehran, Iran, of striking oil tanker near India. The British security firm Ambrey has described the Champ Pluto as an Israeli affiliated vessel. So let's read several sentences here. The Pentagon has accused Iran of orchestrating a drone attack on oil tanker in the Indian Ocean on Saturday, aimed heated tensions in the region fueled by conflict between Hamas and Israel. The strike on the ship resulted in no casualties and no serious damage. I also will mention that Western media began publishing articles about Iran's involvement in Houthi activities, and they are trying to blame. Excuse me. I'm not gonna start this video again, man. Excuse me. And well, Western media is trying to blame Iran now for Houthi attacks, and this is very dangerous. Because attention may be shifted towards Iran very quickly by Western ruling class. So let's see what informations we will have in next several days. But I did not like at all this new wave of propaganda of the Western media about Iran and in Iran's role in this crisis in the Red Sea. They definitely are shifting blame from Houthis on Iran now. Like Iran is a major part in this crisis, and this is not good because I believe there are some serious influential groups in the Western ruling class that are probably dreaming about war with Iran, how to provoke war with Iran, and let's hope they will not succeed. RIA Novosti also reports that Iran, in response, made a statement. General of Revolutionary Guard of Iran, that U.S. have not gonna be surprised, or not to be surprised if a crisis in the Red Sea will further intensify, and even Mediterranean Sea will become blocked for shipping. If this crisis will engulf even Mediterranean, and the Gibraltar Strait, for example, will be no longer suitable for shipping. This was not a direct threat from Iran, but this general did said that current activity of US and other NATO member states and their negative role in escalation in the Middle East may force new resistance groups to emerge, and these new groups may, among other directions, may begin the activities in Mediterranean and Gibraltar Strait. And well, Gibraltar is a major waterway, of course, because if Gibraltar is no longer safe for shipping, then, well, it's gonna be huge. It's gonna have a devastating impact on European economy, of course. So I don't know what information this Iranian general has. Maybe some groups already are active in Morocco, for example. Maybe in Algiers, I don't know. His statements are based on what? Which forces will be able, or which forces are close enough to Gibraltar to endanger shipping in this area? But statement is quite interesting and needs to be addressed, I believe. Let's continue now, and well, this is quite interesting. RIA Novosti reports that Ella Pamfilova, head of Central Election Committee in Russia, made a statement that already 29 people applied documents to participate in presidential elections. When I see this number, man, I was laughing. Who these people are, man? But in other hand, this is great opportunity for politicians or even public figures to gain some attention, free basically advertisement, and of course many people will use this, perfectly well understood that they had no chances, but still they will gain some attention from media, from public, and it may benefit them one way or another. So at one hand, I'm kind of surprised seeing this number, and probably in coming days another, I don't know, 10-20 people will also declare that they're gonna run for presidency. But we all know that in reality Putin has huge support of public here in Russia, around 70%. I don't have latest numbers, but I'm quite sure it's somewhere around 70%. And even if entire parliamentary parties, will unite and come up with a single candidate, I don't think they will be able to achieve even second tour of elections. I mean, it's not happening, man. Putin is too popular. Not just in Russia, I mean, worldwide. So what you gonna do, man? But yet again, presidential elections are, good opportunity for many politicians to, get known to the public in Russia. Russia is a huge country, and very few politicians have are known on federal level. It's like, I guess, similar stuff is happening in US when people maybe know their own governor in a state, few other high-ranking officials, and their representative in a Congress or Senate, and that's it, really. And in Russia, it's almost similar. Only like few dozens of politicians that can claim that they are known all around Russia and enough so that they can at least participate in elections with slight chances, very slim chances to achieve anything. So these presidential elections, good opportunity for a younger generation of politicians to get known to better to public. And I believe a Communist Party, which is a second popular party in Russia, first time for decades, did not name as a candidate Zyuganov, a leader of a party, but some other individual. I never heard about him even. And I guess many people in Russia never heard about him. So, well, he will have a great opportunity now to rise as a federal level politician during this presidential elections. Kharitonov, that's the surname of this candidate from communists. Maybe I know, if I see a picture, maybe I know who he is, but maybe not. I don't know. But it's a funny, man. Already 29 people declared that they, and sent documents into Central Election Committee to participate in presidential elections. Not many of them will be able to achieve enough support, to have enough support of public to really be on the ballots, because every candidate has to have a certain number of supporters to be eligible to participate in presidential elections, and all of them now will begin their advertising campaigns to attract this initial support, initial necessary support. But on the ballot, eventually 7-10 people will probably be. Anyway, let's continue. So, dear friends, I'm a little bit how should I say it? I may not be as organized as usually. After all, it's a Sunday, and as I said from the beginning, this update gonna be informal talk and news summary type of stuff. So RT is reporting that UK likely in a recession, according to some data, which is well, very bad news for United Kingdom. Britain's economy unexpectedly contracted in the third quarter of the year, raising the possibility that the country is already in a recession. The latest data shows we are talking about very low numbers, not even 1%, but still, technically speaking, UK is on the verge of recession. On the verge of recession, and not just UK, but many other major European economies. Germany, same story. France, same story. You name it. All the other nations, and I believe these difficulties in economy has everything to do with the anti-Russian sanctions, because with these sanctions they harm. Of course, economies of their own countries, these Western leaders, and also they harm reputation of Western countries and investments to European economies from a world did slow down significantly. And opposite process began even when foreign investors are withdrawing the assets from Europe, and this process will not stop anytime soon. So I guess next year situation in major economies in Europe will only worsen, and I don't know where is the way out from here. How European economy is going to compete with other regions in circumstances when they are basically refusing to buy energy for the economies from Russia, cheap pipeline gas, let's say, and paying twice or 3 times more for very same energy, including from Russia, by the way, in LNG, in liquefied form, for example. Or they are not buying oil from Russia directly, but buying from third parties and are paying additional sums. So in this situation, European economies are just not in a position to be competitive enough with the rest of the world, especially with China, India, Global South, US, by the way, North America. They enjoy cheap energy, relatively cheap energy, if you compare it prices with Europe. And that's why many European companies are emigrating now towards North America. RT is reporting that Russia's key ally to hike rates for oil transit, Belarus made decision to rise the transit tariff by 10% for oil, and from Belarus, by the way, Russian oil is transported to Hungary. Let me read this. So transit of Russian oil through Belarus will become more costly next year, the Kommersant Business Daily reported on Saturday, citing Russian energy export giant Transneft. According to the report, Belarus operator of the Druzhba pipeline, Gomel Transneft Druzhba, has reached an agreement with the Transneft to hike the transit tariff by 10.2% starting on February 1st, 2024. Transneft representative confirmed the information to Kommersant. Russian oil delivered to Hungary, Slovakia and Czech Republic via Belarus through the southern branch of the Druzhba pipeline. And same time, pipeline also carries oil from Kazakhstan, which is delivered via its northern branch through both Russia and Belarus to Germany and Poland. So, oil for European states will become a little more expensive, which yet again gonna have a negative impact on competitiveness of European economies, but it is what it is, man. This is all due to crazy policies of ruling class of the West, extremely xenophobic and Russophobe governments that many European states have. So if Western societies have to blame someone, it's their own governments, really. Russian oil export higher than before Ukrainian conflict. That was said by Deputy Prime Minister. Let's read this information also. Russian oil exports this year will be higher than before the beginning of the special military operation in Ukraine, indicating a failure of Western sanctions. Russian First Deputy Prime Minister Andrei Belousov said this week. This year's crude shipments from Russia are estimated at around 250 million tons, which is 7% higher than in 2021, according to the officials. So yet again, numbers are proving that Western sanctions did fail for sure. May Russia be forced to sell its oil under some discount, but still Russian oil is sold for over $60 price cap that G7 countries and European Union impose on Russia. So, well, maybe Russia did lose some amount of money because of these discounts, but still, major point is that sanctions did not work, and Russia still are major player on energy market and a major player on the world market, not just in terms of energy, but in many other goods. Also, after all, Russia is a major breadbasket for this world. So people may think that Russia only sells oil and gas, but in reality, oil and gas are like 20-30% of Russian income. Only. It's not 90% of Russian income. It's about 20-30%. It's a huge number, of course, still, but Russia thus has many other industries that are very competitive and very active on the world market. And Russia has a huge potential, of course, and first of all, in terms of agricultural development. High-tech, of course, high-tech, and also agricultural development because of the vastness of Russia. And it's just inevitable that in 10, 15, 20 years' time, world's dependence on Russian agricultural sector will only increase, and Russia will most likely agricultural sector will become a major income, major source of income for Russia. Not energy sector, but agricultural sector. And well, and this is it for now. How long is this video? A quite short update. 47 minutes. It's okay. So this is it, dear friends. I hope you will find this little bit chaotic update interesting. And if so, please click that like button, leave some commentary, and share video. Friends, it will definitely help to reach a wider audience and further develop this project. And if you think this channel is interesting, useful, informative, and time to time, who knows, maybe even entertaining, please consider to support my work with small donations through PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, or by subscribing to my Patreon page. You can see links on this video in the description box or in the pinned comment. Once again, happy Christmas to everybody. Have a great day and take care.